All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Taco Tuesday. You know what I mean? What are you guys up to? Chat is member only again today. But yeah, man, today has been interesting. Very, very interesting. Do you guys agree? Do you think today has been interesting, dog? It's been wild. Really. It really has been. You know what I mean? Like, from ES, excuse me, to NQ to even Dow. Like, everything has been pretty insane today. My tinfoil hat idea was that Nvidia came out to, you know, put like a whole bunch of money into AI and shit. And so I feel like everybody might think that that's bullish. And so we see that today has been, here's our equities open up here. Today has been lower. And it's like, we keep making lows and then we'll rally. And then we make equal lows and then rally. Stabbed into the lows, rallied, left behind more lows, and then we just stabbed into that again. So that's rough, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's rough for traders that are, I don't recommend to do this, but for traders that are trying to catch the bottom, right? Today is a rough day to do that, to try and do that. Wow, Mason. I did look at gold a few minutes ago. I like longs on it. I'm not long, but I do like longs. There's some highs up here, which I think is also all-time highs as well. So we have all-time highs for indices and gold. I don't always know everything, chat. You know, what are you supposed to do with that? You know what the one of the biggest factors to that, to me, is the dollar index. The dollar index has been water. Has been booty water. You know what I mean? If you take a look at this year, okay? If you take it, let's go back to like right here in January, right? December 31st, January. Dollar index is down like 10% for the year. Dollar is trash. The dollar, dookie dollar, right? We did have a rally at the beginning of the year, sure. But yearly open, we're above it. And this thing gets absolutely crushed. So what is that good for? Y'all already know. Y'all already know. That's going to be good for pretty much everything else. So metals, beautiful rally, especially on silver. My goodness gracious. My goodness. And of course, the one that outperforms, gold, right? Same thing. We have like January here. We really get, it's like way over here. I'm sorry. I forget my camera's over here. We get almost no movement below the yearly open. And we have absolutely seen a stellar year for metals, you know? And of course, indices as well, right? The only difference is we had our, you know, I wouldn't call it a crash. A lot of people called it a crash, but back in April, right? And a lot of us looked at that like buying opportunities, in which it was one of the best opportunities in a very, very long time, right? Nailed it. And so with the dollar continuing to crumble, higher indices, right? So definitely not bad. But yeah, this is I would say a hard day for either side. And I really did not want to trade Dow either. So I know Librite did. I know some of you probably did too, but with NQ and ES both having buy side liquidity, and then Dow also being the leader this morning, I was like, nah, I'm just not going to do it. So I didn't, you know? I don't think we're at a low of day. I think I mentioned this earlier in the Discord that the 860s were a gap on the daily that we may reach for. So let me back up for a second. I was going to title the stream when it's too late to long and too early to short or something like that. It was going to be badass. It's going to be really cool. But that's kind of like how I feel about this, you know? I don't think we've made a bottom. I feel like if we do short here, it is rather late. You know what I mean? But every move that we've seen higher has been met with a larger move lower. So this doesn't look bullish to me. So we'll see. Let's do our intro real quick because I did not do that yet. What is good, Mason, Eminem, Z, Robin, Capitalist, Felix, Roger, Naruto, Marshall, Jorks, Gessner. He said, rolled out of bed not too long ago. You didn't miss a lot today, in my opinion. What's good? Omar, Tio, MJ, Torty, Oscar, Flacco, Dog, Eric, H, Adam. What's good, everyone? So, and like I said a minute ago, that's kind of my mindset today. We're below sell side here. We have another pool of like smaller sell side that we just took. You know what I mean? And we have buy side up here. So do I want to short below old lows? That's hard to justify for me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jim Bob? Denelson, you know what I mean? That's hard for me to justify. But yeah, what's good, everyone? One of the, I think it was Mimi, one of our members in the Discord, what's good, Dark Joker, said, it was kind of funny. She was like, I don't know what to journal. It's like, well, shit. I don't know what to journal either. But I guess if we were to start, it would be a good idea to start with the conditions, right? So I'd say 9/23, 2025. You know, indices made all-time highs yesterday, so we're trading, or we're looking at the markets the day after all-time highs. And then I would just describe like what happened this morning. Well, NQ yesterday, as well as overnight and pre-market and equities, all of this. And I know Mason actually pointed this out, and it's here for you right here. But we spent a absolute diabolical amount of time around that 25K price level. You know what I mean? I used to talk about these a lot. And the way that these work, there's a video, I think it's called Whole Numbers Reimagined or some shit like that. And I also talked about this in my book as well, like 80-20 levels and stuff like that. So that 25K above it basically is going to be a premium, and below it's going to be like a discount. But yeah, we have buy side up there. So I don't think the market is quite ready to crash yet. So, but yeah, so going back to the journaling thing, I would describe that. I'd say we traded up into 25K all-time highs yesterday. PM session, Asia, London, and pre-market and equities all spent time at 25K. You know what I mean? There was so much business done around 25K, and I would say, well, yeah, Dow went higher. Let's actually go look at that real quick. I would say, sick of this price action. I would say Dow traded higher, you know, the first 30, 45 minutes of the day versus NQ, rip ass. And then ES really, as per usual, did neither. It didn't really rally above an old high, maybe like London's high at best, but it sort of stays in the middle. But given the weakness on NQ, and I think it was regular trading hour lows, which I mentioned both this morning. I said we do have highs, but we have lows as well. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see, basically. And the lows ended up getting taken. We don't get a reversal. We get the continuation lower. You know what I mean? And so this is starting a lot more to look like the 860s. But that's what it's headed for. You like my life stories? Dude, my life stories are not the best. I got stories for days, though. Yeah, life's fucking crazy, dude. But that's why, like, Human Nature, The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene, such a good book. I'm reading a book right now, and Flacco, it's your fault for derailing my focus today. I think I shared this yesterday. I'm reading a book called The Dispossessed by Ursula Le Guin. It is a little bit weird. Some of her other books are definitely fucking weird. Like, there's one book she has. I bought it actually, so it's fine. I'll read it. But it's about like this world, and everyone is neither man nor woman, you know? So it's like, I don't know, it's weird shit. But this one is about like two different worlds. You know, one world lives one way and the other world lives differently. Like, one world is anarchy and capitalism, and the other world is like nobody owns anything, we all share. And this guy goes from one world to the other trying to bridge them. You know, it's just interesting, and it's like a 60-year-old book, and you know, it's like a philosophical novel, if you will. But anyway, I say all that to say life is interesting. Everyone's life is interesting. There's always going to be high points. There's always going to be low points. Drop some likes on the stream if you guys have ever had a high point or a low point in life. And I'm not talking about a high point like you smoke a doobie, Willow. I'm talking about Mason. I'm talking about like rock bottom, broke, don't know what to do, feel like shit, overweight, you know, I don't know. Just felt like the world was against you, I guess. Felt like shit, probably. And high points too. You know, where you felt like you were on top of the world. I had a pretty high point when I bought my Corvette this year. That was a pretty good high point for me. Especially the first time I drove by my old high school. I damn near fucking cried. Holding my middle finger out the fucking window. I didn't do that, but I wanted to. Shit, I wanted to throw a Molotov at it, honestly, but I was like, you know what, John? Self-control is the way. Self-control is the way. But, yeah. So was there ever a time where you hit rock bottom in trading, as in you lost like almost all your money or something? Well, first of all, I've never lost all my money, but I remember, I think I said this the other day or yesterday. I do remember the first time I lost like a few grand. And a few grand, I could lose a few grand today and it really wouldn't, you know, I'd be like, all right, on to the next trade or whatever. But a few grand a long time ago, yeah, that fucking hurt. And I was like, maybe trading isn't for me. This is fucking stupid. Like, this sucks. Um, yeah, I don't know. I probably blamed everything, everybody or anything except myself, obviously. You know, um, it's like, why didn't the market make a low here? Should have made a low. Like, I don't know. But you just have to realize that people like me who come on the internet and tell you manage risk, manage risk, manage risk. There's a reason we talk about that so much. You know what I mean? There's a reason you never want to risk. Let's say if you're on a combine, right? And you have a full $2,000 to play with, you don't want to throw $1,000 on a trade. You know what I mean? 2 trades and you're done. Like that's bad risk management. But coming out of rock bottom is understanding that you made a mistake, probably several mistakes, and you have to recognize them. You have to take responsibility for them. And then moving forward, you have that experience in the back of your mind, like, okay, obviously I need to size down, so I'll size down and, we'll start trading again or whatever. And then when you start sizing up again, you may have that like PTSD almost, like, oh shit, well, I remember last time I used this lot size or contract size and it didn't go so well. And you gotta get past that too. But really that's what it's about. It's about recognizing the mistakes that you made, all of them. Okay, because it's probably not just one, there's probably several. Taking responsibility for what you did. The market did not do anything to you that you did not let it do. Do you get that, chat? Drop some 2s in the chat. I don't think we even did 1s today. Drop some 2s in the chat. The market will not take all your money unless you allow it to do that. You know what I mean? You put on a trade, you risk $100, you might lose 125 or something, if you get slippage or, commission, all XYZ, all that shit, right? Which is reasonable. But excuse me. You will not lose, let's say, $1,000 unless you risk $1,000, or you just straight up take a trade and you don't put a stop loss in, and you're just like, yeah, well, I don't want to get stopped. I can't get stopped out if I don't have a stop loss, right? It's like, well, okay. You know what I mean? And you anticipate that the market's going to come back and it never does, and then your account is gone. You're done. So there's a reason that I made the 48 laws of trading. There's a reason I divided all 48 laws rather, divided into 3 categories and spent an equal amount of laws on each category of a successful trader. The strategy side of it, the technical analysis side, the middle, I think 18 or 16, whatever it is. The middle third on, I think it was risk management. And then the final third was on psychology, right? Psychological skills to then implement the previous other 2/3, right? Like I did that on purpose. You know what I mean? Because it will not work otherwise. Can you get lucky sometimes? Of course. Can you get lucky consistently? That's not how statistics work. You know, you have to consistently follow rules that would allow you to win more than you lose in the long run over a series of trades. You know, can you take a loss, 1 or 2 losses here and there? Oh, of course you can. You might be trading, you might be trying to long today. You might be getting clipped out the fucking ass right now because you're trying to long when this market is likely to go to the 60s. Which is why I said that earlier, and that's why I said that now, and that's why we've been watching it. But for the trader that says, okay, well, we got some lows and we got a reversal, like, let me take a low risk, you know, long. And you took that and you took a loss. Okay, no problem. But for the trader that's like trying to long here and again and again and again and again, you know, death by 1,000 cuts, like, brother, you're trying to take on a train right now. The train is coming, you're on the tracks and you're running right for that bitch. You're done. You're done. This train is going to the 60s. And again, that's my belief. We may not do that, but it's going down here to me, right? And trying to fight that over and over again, death by 1,000 cuts. But the trader who may have taken one loss and says, okay, I lost my 1%. I'm on the wrong side. I can't really find a trade short because we're already, you know, sold off like a bitch. It's hard to find shorts. Let me just sit out and I'll wait for the PM session. I'll wait for the final hour. I'll wait for the MLC. I'll wait for fucking tomorrow, whatever. And you just keep that 1% L and then move on. You see the difference there versus trying to catch a bottom in a falling market. You know what I mean? Keep the losses small. Don't take a bunch of small losses. See, that's a rabbit hole too. You might think, well, every trade I take is fine because it's 1% risk. But my guy, if you take 8, 9, 10 trades and all of them lose 1%, dog, you're getting cooked. You're getting obliterated. You know what I mean? That's why in the 48 laws, as well as that strategy video, what were the fucking rules, chat? What were the rules? The rules were you get 2 trades a day, right? I think it was, and then 3 days out of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that means the worst possible performance anybody could achieve would be 6 losses in a row. Right? So roughly it'd be like 6, maybe 6.5%, you know, given like slippage, commission, XYZ, right? So the worst possible thing could be 6.5% like for that week, you know, versus losing 10% in a day or some shit, you know? So there's so much that goes into coming out of rock bottom, dude. You know what I mean? But that's where it starts. Like I said earlier, if you guys need me to say it again, in my opinion, right? No notes in front of me. Okay. We're in the high 60s, by the way. Nobody knows where the market can go. It's all random, right? It's all supply and demand too. When you're at rock bottom, you just blew an account, you just lost all your money, whatever. Recognize the mistake, more likely the mistakes that you made the next day, or maybe even take a week off and then come back, right? Admit to the mistakes that you made, recognize them, you know, admit to them, take responsibility and say, well, I traded without a stop loss. I over leveraged. I got in too early. I didn't follow my plan. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Or, you know, I faded John's bias, right? Whatever. And then moving forward, you got to rewrite your rules here. You got to say, okay, from now on, max number of trades, max risk per trade. And you should never, theoretically, you should never blow an account again. With proper risk and not being a fucking dumbass, you should not ever blow an account again. So we're at 864. Oh, we stopped one tick shy. What, 861? We're at 861, and I can't fucking see up here. Oh, there it is, 861. We got 860 and 3/4. Told you. Look at that. The markets are random. Nobody knows. There's that fucking gap I told you about. And we watched this whole thing on stream too. Imagine that. Man, this guy's fucking lucky all the fucking time. I can't stand it. I can't fucking stand this guy who's always right. No, I get it wrong sometimes too, chat. I do. But look, if it ain't fucking bullish, bro, and we got some higher time frame shit down here, that's probably where it's going. How hard is that? Live price, baby. Live fucking price. Can't beat that with a stick. I don't know why my dad used to say that. He'd find a good deal at the grocery store. There's that buy side from yesterday too. From down here. I thought we may get that yesterday. We didn't. That just got tagged as well. So, man, bias is so hard. Talk about daily bias, John. You get a bias, right? Find the liquidity, trade in that direction. In this case, find the inefficiency and trade in that direction. Because the markets do what? They're going to trade to one of two things. Liquidity or inefficiency. Do we have liquidity somewhere? Personally, I don't even think so. Where? I mean, down here. Maybe that low, I guess. Let's go to regular. Yeah, that's the only low. But I don't know. That's just not, I don't know, distinctive. It's not too obvious. It's kind of just hidden down in there. So if that's, I guess, not the target, then what would it be? The inefficiency. I told you it was on a daily. Did you look at it? See that? Look at that. Friday the 19th to Monday the 22nd. That's also a weekend one as well. Look at that. We closed, opened slightly lower. That was a gap. See how that works? It's like a magnet, baby. Wow, wow, wow. It's almost like the market does the things that I tell you it does. Liquidity here, trades to liquidity. Liquidity down here, trades there. Inefficiency down here, trades to that. Wow. The market only goes to two things, chat. Two things. Liquidity, inefficiency. That's it. Well, obviously there's more to it than that, but I'm saying, like, fundamentally speaking, those are the two things that the market seeks. Liquidity and inefficiency. And I just proved it again. I didn't trade it. I'm not short, but, you know, this is live price. I'm teaching with live price, giving you my bias beforehand. Not always right. Not always. But you asked, you know, actually you didn't, but I'll give it to you anyway. What other questions you guys got today? Have you enjoyed today's discussion so far? From the question that Flacco introduced? You know, coming up from rock bottom, coming up from like, oh man, I feel like shit. Well, I think I can't speak for women, but as a man, I would say get some money to yourself, have some money for yourself. I would say get in better shape. I'm not in the best shape, but I used to be. Right? I've been working out the last few days. I feel pretty good, you know. But like as a man though, get some money, get in better shape, and read, you know. Once you got money in your bank account or in your trading account, you got some emergency money, you got some fallback money, you know, like you're not worried about where your next meal is going to come from. Like you're good when you don't have to worry about basic essentials, then you can focus on some extra, you know. So you know, for the women, for the ladies that are listening, I mean, I would say probably the same thing. You know, get some money to yourself. Maybe not try to rely so much on a man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But I think anybody, um, you know, men and women alike, I think it's best for all of us to have money behind us to some extent, even if it's a few grand. You know, I'm not saying, hey, go make 100K and put 100K away in savings. Man, fuck. Be realistic here. Get 2, 3, maybe 5 grand to your name. You know, have that in your trading account or in your savings or something. And then, you know, start doing stuff. But man, that gap offered absolutely no bottom whatsoever. So, yeah, imagine that. I keep telling you, man, imagine trying to long this right now. Someone out there is doing it. It ain't me. Someone out there is trying to long this bitch today. Any of these. And it is not going well. I can tell. This is the kind of day that people fucking do that. This is what they try to do. And it's not going well for them. Okay. This is also purely speculation. The fact that, let me go back. The fact that we have traded beyond twice the length of that gap is concerning. Meaning, if this gap is not bullish, then we may continue, we may seek for more, which may be down here. That's why I said that may be concerning, because we may end up just shitting the bed and going lower. I mean, my stocks account is going to be okay, you know, a couple down days, whatever. But if anybody's holding long in futures, they're fucked. If they're holding shorts right now, they're blessed. I don't know if Lee Bright's still short on Dow Jones or not, but I mean, this thing was nasty. This thing was nasty. But this buy side up here, oh, I forgot to mention that. Let me go back up here. This to me is, again, is one of those scenarios, if they're not all this way, where we have multiple pools. So we have equities open liquidity, and then like these highs together, we have a ton of liquidity up here. So anybody who is short right now, oh, they're killing it. They're blessed. They're loading up their Amazon cart and they're awesome, right? Or they're feeling awesome. They're feeling euphoric. But I don't think this is going to be the top of the stock market. Same thing for NQ. That we can definitely pull back some. And I don't know how far it could go. I don't know. But I don't think we've made a top in the stock market. These highs are just too clean here. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So what time? Oh, it's 8:40. Okay. It is 12:40. So we don't have too much time left for our stream today. But yeah, it has been an interesting day so far. Mason started Epictetus today. Is it the selected writings or Discourses and Selected Writings from Penguin Classics. Is it that one with the squares on it? Or is it a different one? Which version of Epictetus are we talking about? Epictetus was that guy, dude. That was that guy. He was like, you could break my leg. You could break all the bones in my body, but you can never break my will. I was like, fuck. Dude was a straight G. Dude was a... I forget which time period he was. It was prior to Marcus Aurelius. But he was an ancient gangster, dude. I'm telling you. Straight up. Yeah, I agree, Naruto. You said that to what I asked earlier. When I asked if you enjoyed today's conversation so far, and I think you said right after, it's sound information, much better than practicing insanity and complaining about your problems or your status is rock bottom. Right. Well, that's what a lot of people do. They complain. I don't have this. I don't have that. I can't find a better job. You know, all this shit. It's like, and I'm not really one of those people that's like, hey, you know, you're going to speak it into it. You're not going to like speak it into existence. I'm really not into that kind of shit. But I would say more so, even though like you say these things out loud, that to me is a lesser issue versus believing that internally. Because you say it because you believe it. That's where your problem is. Sure, you probably shouldn't say that. But before you can fix, you know, what you're saying, you have to fix what you're thinking. So, you guys think anybody's still trying to pick the bottom here? You guys think anybody out there is still trying to pick the bottom? Dude, these are the kinds of days that will cook your account like it's, what's that shit called? Damn, I forget the name of that place. Fucked up the analogy. Hibachi. You know what I mean? All the traders trying to long are going up to the hibachi chef like, yo, here's my account. Here's my raw shrimp, man. Cook me. That's basically what's happening. But anyway, like I was saying, I know I get sidetracked all the time. You have to change your belief. You know? I had to change my belief too. Like, dude, I hate getting into this stuff, man. But only because like it's emotionally charging. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's been hard to write this book too, because it's hard to put shit into words without over dramatically talking about it. You know, but when you're in that position of where you don't make a lot of money, you don't have a lot of money, you know, people don't like you, you don't have a lot of friends, like you're just in a bad place. Like, oh yeah, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Because there's nothing that you can do. You have no leverage, you have no power, you have nothing. You know? That's why I said earlier, you got to get you some money under your belt. You gotta be in a position where you can walk away from a job, where you can, you know, go do what you want instead of living every day according to other people's will. If that makes sense. And look, I don't try to be an asshole, but I do double park. I just do it way in the back of the parking lot. Because nobody's going to tell me where the fuck I can and can't park. It's public. You know what I mean? I ain't going to tell you how fast I drive, but let's just say I don't give a fuck about those speeding signs or the speed limit signs. I don't care. You're not going to tell me how fast I can drive. It's just not going to happen. It's not an ego thing. It's a freedom thing. You think you're going to make it, bro? You think you're going to make it without breaking some fucking rules? If you think you can become successful without bending a few rules here and there, you should think about where you're at after following all the rules and see where that gets you. I won't expand further on that. But it's just, it's a freedom thing, bro. Humans, right? All of us, unless you're just a weirdo. You and I, okay, there's like 60 of you on here, right? And I'm talking to you guys. All of us in here, I believe, crave freedom. Do you not? Do you not crave freedom, the ability to do what you want when you want to do it? Now, I'm not saying lawless. I'm not saying anarchy. Make up our own rules. Like, no. Like, of course, there's still rules. You know, don't rob, don't fucking kill people. You know what I'm saying? Like, basic, like 10 commandments here, right? Have some basic structure. But I'm saying everything else, though. Like, we want to be able to do what we want to do. You want to stay home and trade? Stay home and trade. You want to leave your job? Walk the fuck out. You know what I mean? But a lot of people have anxiety and depression because they can't do that. Well, I have to do this because I have bills and I have this and that and a third and I'm too scared or whatever. It's like, well, if nothing changes, nothing changes, dog. What, there's nothing that I could do or say for you. If nothing changes, nothing changes. But everybody craves freedom. We want the ability to do what we want to do. And that, I think, was a big reason why high school and even afterwards was so challenging for me, because I just kept meeting all these people that wanted to control everything so much. You know, the out of the jobs that I had, all the managers were so controlling and overbearing, and they would change the schedule and not tell me, or, you know, just weird shit. And I'm like, bro, you're asking me to do all this work. I only make one wage. If you want me to do the work of two people, fucking pay me for two people. Yeah, I was that kind of guy. And they were like, oh, well, you know, you're not a team player, all this bullshit. And it's just so rough, man. I was like, I'm so tired and so sick of other people telling me where to be, when to be there, what to wear, what not to wear, what to say, what not to say, paying me pennies, you know, for my time, our most valuable asset, right? And I was like, this is how people live their life? I was like, I'm sick of this shit after 2 weeks. And people live like 50, 60 years like this? Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, we're not doing that. So me personally, I learned that pretty early. Do you guys not agree that freedom is what everybody wants? At least freedom to a higher degree than what most people would currently be at in terms of where their freedom is at. You being able to do whatever you want to do on the weekends, that's not fucking freedom. 2 days out of 7, no, that is not freedom. That's like short term. Yeah, let's watch sports and drink beer, bro. Yeah, you're cooked. You know, I'm just catching up on the chat because I've been talking to you and I've been ignoring the chat. I'm sorry. Saw someone on TikTok live going in or longing in accumulation. Oh yeah, they're fucked. Unless they long down here, maybe, but they're cooked. And of course, a TikTok trader would try to long something like this. Of course they would. Adam, I don't know. Would you recommend the beginner trader to trade tomorrow, even after today? As a beginner, you should probably be studying more than anything, but if there's going to be setups, if there's going to be high probability setups and conditions, I don't see why not. But you know, just be aware. That's all I'm saying. Just be aware. We might have some we might have some tomfoolery. You know. Let's see, ES was did not reach down here. Dow, like this imbalance here. So we may see a little bit of short-term rally here, but I would be interested to see what we do in this gap. I probably wouldn't trade it personally, but I would want to see what we do here. If the market is going to attack this sell side, I would think it would treat this bearishly. If we end up just ripping back up above that, I wouldn't. I would be not wanting to short. Hell, I probably just won't even trade at all, honestly. But yeah. Pass a few challenges, trading at my job and trading on my phone. Yeah. Dude, I told you guys this already, but one of my old work friends had shared a trade with me. And he had made, you know, like $100 or something, 110 or, you know, whatever it was, like a little bit above like $100 or something like that. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, like I'm doing now what you used to do, you know, what you used to show me your phone. Now I'm showing you. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. And I think people are starting to wake up to the reality of this stuff. You know, personal accounts, funded accounts, whatever. That's what I've been trying to do. Just wake people up, man. Say, look what's out here. Look what's available to you. Yeah, Roger. I mean, that's probably true to an extent. Yeah, like someone else probably has it worse. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. As long as you don't die, I'm sure you could probably come back from whatever it is that you're challenged with. Freedom and purpose. Yeah, I agree. How would you be able to carry out your purpose if you don't have the freedom to do it? How many books were not written by insanely smart and insanely creative people because they spent so much time at a job that they hated? How many chefs never became a chef because they were stuck, you know, working at the restaurant down the street and never took the chance to start their own restaurant or you know, create their own menu or some shit? You know what I mean? How many really insane traders out there quit and decided not to become traders because they screwed up one or two accounts and said, oh well, I've had enough. You know what I mean? It's sad. It's sad to think about. Really, it really is. I said this in my Corvette Conversations episode yesterday or the day before yesterday. Every time, you know, somebody like an older guy sees my car, is like, oh, that's yours, or, you know, whatever. There's always like some story. Corvette's, you know, that's my favorite car, or my cousin has a 1970s one or a C5 or some shit. I always wanted one, but I never got one. Like, my heart takes like a 1 HP hit every time somebody tells me that. You know what I mean? Because it's I mean, I'm glad they're sharing, you know, their like conversation with people, but really it hurts though, because it's like what you're telling me is you had a dream and you did not achieve it. That makes me sad. And it makes me appreciate my car a lot more. 100%. Because I realize now that like so many people want nice things, but they'll never get them. And in all seriousness, that makes me sad. It really does. It makes me sad. It makes me more appreciative because it's perspective. That's what reading does for you as well. But yeah, it's sad. It's like, damn, man. You're going into your, I don't want to say the wrong shit to the wrong person, but you're going into the latter half of your life, right? When you're like 50, 60, bro, you got more days behind you than in front of you. You know what I mean? For most people. You're 60, you ain't making it to 120. So you've got more years behind you than in front of you, right? So you're going into the latter half of your life, and time is running out for you to do the things that you want to do. You know? That's another reason why I bought it this year too at 31. 31 years old, dream car. Not to brag, because it really does. It makes me sad to see people not achieve what they want. Oof. Capitalist with the philosophical comment. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Yikes. What a sad way to end the stream. What a sad day to end the stream. Listen, most of you, thank you, Dart. Most of you are still young. You have time. If you're in your 30s, if you're in your 20s, you got plenty of time. Okay. I didn't learn how to trade in 1 or 2 years. It took longer than that. All right. Yes, there are good times. There are really good times. And in the beginning, right, not so much anymore, but like in the beginning, yeah, there were times where I doubted, being able to do this. I doubted, being able to make money from this. But once you get past those initial setbacks, once you get past those rough waters, it's pretty clear after that. It ain't going to be perfect, but it's less rough seas after the initial storm, or storms rather. You know what I mean? So again, it comes back to the things that I tell you: journal, read, study, learn. You know what I mean? If you avoid those things, you're going to make mistakes that could have otherwise been avoided. You won't miss every mistake, of course, but at least you can make less mistakes, So that's, I guess, our conversation today. Coming up from rock bottom. Get money, get in shape, and read. I would encapsulate the reading part of like the wisdom. You know what I mean? Like gain understanding about different things, So fix your finances, get your mind right, get your body right, and you'll be in a much better place than you were when you weren't. So I can only speak for men. I feel like that's a pretty solid thing for women too, right? Get money, get in shape. Right? That's pretty sexist. Get in shape, ladies. Right? And read, become knowledgeable. I don't know. Do we have any ladies in the chat? Do you guys have any comments? Like, am I being a dickhead? Or I'll open the chat for everybody. Is that wrong of me to say, or do you guys agree? Get some money, ladies. Get some money. Get some safety and security for yourself, for your family. You guys agree or disagree? Drop some threes in the chat if you guys agree. As we watch a little bit more of this 1 p.m. macro, but we'll have to see what we do. MJ says, my wife agrees. Very nice. Most of you guys agree. Alex, I always fuck that up. Nayeli. Yeah. I had a friend named Yanelli, and I feel like that's more common. That's why it throws me off. ADHD, appreciate you as well. Yeah, so if you guys don't have anything else, that's going to be it for today. That is going to be it for Taco Tuesday. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Yeah, all the indices are super trash. So here's our open of 1 o'clock. But yeah, so that'll be the study for today then. So between now and the next 2 hours, 2, 3, yeah, between now and the next 2 hours, I would study what this gap does. I would study what it does. Okay. We'll see if we get this sell side down here or not. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm probably not going to trade the rest of today. But yeah, study this gap up here. See what we do in the last 2 hours of the day. Okay? So, y'all be good. Thank you, she, her. Y'all be good. Be blessed. Have an amazing rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow on Wednesday for another free live stream. I will put out a market review tonight for all the members of this SMS community. All right. See you guys tomorrow.
Promises, they died the day you let me go. Caught up in a web of lies, but it was just too late to know. I thought it was you who would stand by my side, and now you've to reality and find the future not so bright. I dreamt the impossible, that maybe things would work out right. I thought it was you who would treat me no wrong, and now you've you down. this empty Well, I've been waking up under blades, blue blossom.